Hello, this is, I'm going to assume part 4 of creating a 2D platformer in Unity. Last time we looked at, I'm trying to even think what we looked at. We looked at, I can't even remember, it seems like a million years ago. I know we started putting our player together and we looked at sprites and breaking those sprites apart. Since then, if you look in the last video, I had this horrible little blurred dinosaur. I now have this kind of semi-blurred kind of knight. I'm kind of happy with him. I picked this geezer up on here, which is, as you can see there, all free sprites on itch.io. You can obviously use the Unity asset store as well, but I thought I'd do something a little bit different. Today we are going to look at the logic for our player and player movement. So if you've seen scripting bits and bobs I've done before, that's all been in 3D, and this is a little bit different, but you can kind of get the hang of it, hopefully. It's actually easier than 3D because obviously there's no z-axis, so you don't have to worry about that part of the physics. So yeah, this should be pretty easy and hopefully easy for you to understand. If you don't, watch it again. I'll try and go through as slow as possible. And again, I will be trying, or no, not trying to use, but showing you how you can use scripting API that's offered us by Unity to put together our player. Okay, so first things first is we need to get our player set up. So what we've got is we've got our player, and then last week we added our sprite, and that's where our sprite is, and I've put him here so we can see he's there. At the moment when we play our game, we can see that there's no other animations because we just have the first idle sprite. But obviously we've done the animated tiles for the waterfall. And I also said finish your levels. Hopefully you have like a pretty fleshed out level now of what you want for your first level of your 2D game. I need to do that as well, but I'm trying to get these videos done and other bits and pieces. I'll eventually get there. So this will do for now. But I hope you've got your level done. It's been fun. So what we're going to do, we're going to go into, I've created scripts because what we did was that we added scripts for our animated tile, didn't we? So what I'm going to do is right click, go to create, go to script, and call this, wants to work, there we go, call this player. Fantastic. So what we're going to do is click on player in our hierarchy. So our player game object, our sprite itself. On add component, we are going to add player. So, and we can just add our player script, or you can just easily drag it in. So what we can do is once we've got that, we need to add some more components to this. And unlike 3D, in previous tutorials, we didn't use a rigid body because it creates too much problems in 3D. If you want to create a quick 3D game or quick prototype game, we just didn't use it. We used the character controller as our collider and our gravity, and we created our own gravity from there with the variable. We created our own variable of is grounded. Here, we're going to actually use rigid body because we don't have to fight the z-axis, that's what I'm looking for. Don't have to fight the z-axis, so it's pretty simple creating gravity and sort of and fighting against gravity when we create a jump within 2D. So what we're going to do is go to add component and go rigid body 2D. Lovely. Add that on. And also, so at the moment, if we press play, we can find that our player slowly falls through our level. And that's because there is no collider. We're not colliding with anything. So if I went on my grid here and clicked on ground, we can see where all our colliders are here. So what I'm going to do is he's probably going to fall through the earth again because he's actually beyond the collider. So if I click on him here, drift him up a bit like that, go back to our player, and then what I'm going to do is add a box collider 2D, just like that. Cool. And if we grab, zoom, where is our box collider? If we edit on our guy, I can hardly see them. Where is it? No, it's definitely there. Oh, it's here. How weird. Why has that done that? No idea. So, I don't know why our box collider is there, but it is. Why is that not on our player? How odd. Let's just remove that component and add that again. So on our player, yep, that is our player. Add component. Interesting. Okay, see if we can move that over and get this working. Offset, we don't want any kind of offset. We have to just put him over here, I guess. And up there like that. No idea why that didn't actually work. What we can do is, oh, let's just do it from here. It'll be a lot easier. And we can move this down. Cool. So let's quickly press play on that and see if that works. Lovely. So as you can see, he's just fallen down there, and that is our collider working. No idea why that made our box collider go in the middle, but it all seems to be fine now. Let's just press play again, make sure we've got no issues. Lovely, cool. So done and dusted with that. Don't need to worry about that anymore. So some people do add circle colliders at the bottom as well when it comes to sort of jumping and clipping on to different edges of cliffs and things on their 2D games. You can add that, that's entirely up to you. So you can go and add a circle collider as well, 2D, onto your character, depending on what your character is. Obviously, it's going to be different to my character. Okay, so let us open this script. So double click on player. There we go. So with player, we can start with looking at the rigid body, because just like we did in 3D with controlling our gravity with the character controller, we're now going to use our rigid body 2D. So let's have a look at rigid body 2D. Let's click the question mark. Let's open the reference for 2D, rigid body 2D. Well, we know what it is. It's creating physics. It's creating gravity for us. Let's switch to scripting. This might be a little bit better. So we are going to use our rigid body 2D to move left and right. And it involves position, the position of rigid body. Let's have a quick look at that. The position of rigid body, this position of rigid body is an X and Y only. Public vector 2 position. Don't need that. Mass is the mass of it. Rotation, position, simulated, linear velocity. Let's have a look at this. Okay, the velocity is specified as a vector with the components in X and Y directions. There is obviously no Z direction in 2D physics. The value is not usually set directly, but rather by using forces. This is exactly what we want. We want to move on our X-axis and our Y-axis. Obviously, we can't move on our Z, as it clearly specifies. So let's have a look what it's saying here in an example script. So if you're a bit confused by this, don't be. So this is quite good. Private rigid body 2D. So this is it's initially been called up just like we did with our character controller. I'm just trying to think. Has it got any horizontal? Has it put any horizontal input in at all? And I don't think it has. That is interesting. It's just gone for something completely different. Obviously, it doesn't want you really to nick this piece of code, which I totally understand. So we'll write our own. But this is good. This is fine. Let's all move our values. Okay, we'll do it a bit like 3D so you understand what I'm trying to do. So what we'll do is, right at the start, as we saw on this piece of script, we'll take this. So private rigid body 2D RB. Cool. So private rigid body 2D, and I'm going to do this underscore RB. So a little bit of the same as Unity, but that's absolutely fine. That will work. So in start, do they do? Oh, they do it on awake, don't they? On awake, RB equals game object dot add component. Rigid body 2D as rigid body. Oh, that's a bit long. What I'm going to do is I'm going to slightly change that, and just like we did in our 2.5D game, if you've seen that movement, as well as if you've seen movement within the third person character controller and first person character controller, what we are going to do is use just like we did with character controller, but put in rigid body 2D in there instead. So what we're going to say is underscore RB equals get components arrows rigid body 2D closed encapsulation. Lovely. Cool. So Unity knows that RB represents the component of rigid body 2D. Fantastic. So, which is there, and then at the start, right at the start, our rigid body kicks in straight away. Fantastic. So, what's going to go in update? Well, I'm going to try and keep this as close to other tutorials as I've done previously, because I think it's important that you understand what's happening. So, if we do, what did we do? We did float, didn't we? So, horizontal. So, float horizontal input equals input dot get axis and we can say horizontal and semicolon. That's fine, and then we can have a look at this velocity. Where did this velocity come in? Is this the right thing? 2D dot velocity. Okay, rigid body dot velocity. Where is it on here then? I can't even see it. That's crazy. That's not a very good preview. Press the upwards keys to move the rigid body upwards. Press the down keys to move the rigid body downwards. Oh, okay. RB dot. Oh, I get it, because I've done it as a game object. Okay, I see it now. I see. They've got a ball and a float represented by T. So where does velocity first come in? Input if the key down. RB velocity equals a new vector. That is probably the closest thing. So this bit here is the closest we're going to kind of get to kind of emulating what Unity is trying to say here. So what we need to say is that we know that rigid body dot velocity. So we know this moves the direction or forces a direction in our rigid body. So we need to say underscore RB, so underscore our rigid body dot velocity equals a new vector 2. I can't spell vector. New vector 2. Hang on a minute. equals a new vector2, and then it said nothing for the x, and then 2 for the y, and that's because they want to go up here, but we don't want to go up. We want to move with our x value, or we want to move with a horizontal input, don't we? Because we want to move with our WASD keys. So what we're going to do, instead of putting a value for x, we can just write horizontal input. Okay, cool. So, and for our y value, because you have to put in something for y, we can just say rigid body dot velocity dot y, because then you're just saying, yep, I'm just acknowledging that the rigid body is also going to be controlling the y axis as well. So if we command S that and save that, we can see if this code that's been pulled apart from Unity Scripting API is actually going to work. So if we click onto Unity, cool. We've got no errors, cool. If we press play, I'm dropping down, can I move? Fantastic. I'm moving really slowly, but I'm moving. There we go. So I'm probably going to need to set some kind of speed variable on this. But that is perfecto. Let's see if I can fall down with waterfall. See if all the colliders are working properly. I do need to sort out those. Oh, there's something weird there. How odd. There we go. And then I should be able to fall down very slowly. Oh no, yeah, it's just been jammed. If we have a look on here, you can see the colliders. Yeah, I might have to downsize this collider a bit because he's just been wedged. So, interesting. Cool. I like it. What we wanted to do is working. So, if you've got confused, just a brief review. What we've done is the rigid body 2D creates gravity. Okay, we've got that because we've dropped down. We're now using the rigid body to create movement, and we've done that by calling up velocity, okay, as it describes it here. So when we've done this before with a vector 3s, we talk about a vector 3 because it's talking about the 3 axes, your x, your y, and your z. As this says, there is no z direction in 2D physics, so we're only using x and y values. So what we've done is we've called up our rigid body, saying RB represents our rigid body. We're then saying as soon as the game starts, RB will start the rigid body 2D. We're then saying our x movement, left and right, WASD, is all going to be controlled by input.getAxes horizontal. We are then going to say we want our rigid body to move to a new place with a vector 2, movement by a horizontal input, and we're just acknowledging the y, and we're saying that the y will eventually be controlled by our rigid body as well, but we haven't put any kind of input get axes for that because we've only done the x axes for now. Okay, so try as much as you can to try and implement, if you want to look at other videos that I've done, try and implement a jump system. It might be a little bit different. I'll try and put a new system in for jump, where we're going to start looking at ray casting. And if we start doing ray casting with jump, we can do ray casting with firing arrows or attacking enemies, or enemies attacking us within our 2D game. So it might be good as a good starting point to do ray casting for a jump. So that's what we're going to do in the next session, because I've just realized the time. So yeah, use and utilize scripting API as much as you can. Cool. Thank you very much, and see you soon.